All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of My Friend Bannon. This is episode 4, and I'm super excited to feature my friend Kate, and just talk about another crazy Bannon experience, because for some reason they tend to happen to me a lot. So this one's kind of fun and entertaining. Basically, this is a story about how I went to jail. So yes, I said that correctly. Me, Bannon Greer, I went to jail. And so we're going to dive into it, and I'll tell you how it happened.
My Friend Bannon's podcast.
Kate's never heard this story before, so I'm going to tell her live for the first time. It's kind of a fun story. Well, now it's fun. Wasn't fun at the moment, but I knew one day I'd be able to look back and laugh at it, so here we are.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
I'm like, if this is a spoiler, we can wait. How long were you in jail?
In jail? Just one night, luckily.
Okay, I felt like it was clickbait. Okay, one night.
Yeah, just one night. And the jail part really isn't even that crazy of the part of it. It's like leading up to it, like why we got there is kind of nuts. So, and kind of a cool story at the same time. So basically, I was a missionary in Dominican Republic, and this was probably like month 10 that I'm out there. And I just got called to be an office elder. So we were like one of, there was 2 of us companionships that could drive. So we had 2 cars between us and then the assistants to the president. Mm-hmm. And we just like fulfilled tons of mission duties and just had all these different roles, like other than just being a proselyting missionary, like talking to people and teaching lessons and stuff. And so like here I am like stoked on life because I'm like, A, I'm a missionary, B, I'm in freaking Dominican Republic, C, like I get to do all these really cool things, and at this point in my mission, travel the mission quite a bit because I was an office elder.
Oh, cool.
And so everyone else in the mission, all the rest of the missionaries, their P days is what we call our preparation day, is on Monday, and that's where like they get to go to the stores, write their family, like play sports, whatever, just have a fun day. Ours was on Saturday, so just us and the other assistants to the president. Ours was on Saturday because I don't really know why, actually. It just was. And so we got special permission from our president to go out to this waterfall in this super cool part of the island. It's in like the northeast side of the island, this peninsula, this area called Samana, and it's beautiful. Like you can look it up, and it's like white sand beaches. Like they filmed a ton of movies there actually.
That's
and it's
unreal.
just like, crazy cool like area, just jungle and rainforest, waterfalls, all the above. So, and this is like when I opened my mission call, that's what I pictured. I was like, oh, let's go, like Dominican Republic, tropical Caribbean, right? Not all the mission is like that. Not all of the Dominican Republic is like that. But this part in specific is, just kind of a dream. And so I also was just coming out of my last area called Salcedo, which was like, it had parts of that, but it was for the most part just like a really ghetto, like rundown town. And I love it to death, but it was just like, it was like that, like a city that's just very, rundown and ghetto. And I'll talk so much about this in a different episode and stuff. But I was just coming out of that area where I was also, I had to like hide in my house with my companion for like 5 days because our house was getting hit by bullets during a riot. Yeah, our front door, bullet holes through our front door. I have pictures actually. I'll like feature it on.
And
that
how
podcast,
old were you?
19.
That is that to me is the craziest part of missions, is like we send our kids out there, like my parents were like, oh, so excited. And like I have stories like that too.
Yeah.
Of being in like my mission. You are not prepared for how wild those places can be, and like dangerous, like gunpoint, bullets in the door.
Right.
At 19 years old, you're like hiding for your life. Like that's psychotic.
For sure. Yeah, no, it's crazy. At the time, I was like stoked on life though, because I'm kind of a little bit of a adrenaline junkie, and I love stories. Like I love being able to tell stories. Hence why a lot of crazy things probably happen to me. I think I just attract it, honestly. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'm gonna ask for it. I don't know, but yeah, bullets were hitting our front door, so we're like hiding under our beds and things like that. There's tear gas bombs going on. So anyway, I'll jump into that in a different episode in depth and show like videos, because I have like footage and stuff. It's pretty crazy. But that's where I was coming out of. So I was like, a waterfall in the rainforest? Heck yeah, let's freaking do it.
I've been waiting
yeah,
for.
I'm like, this is why I signed up. I'm just kidding. But I was just stoked for it. So we're on our way out there. There's 4 of us in the car. Elder Vargas is driving. He's from Mexico. And we're like probably 45 minutes out from this waterfall. And it was a couple hours to get out there. And it's probably like, I don't know, 9 in the morning. It's like pretty early in the morning. We're going a little faster than we should have on this 2-lane highway. So one way this way, one way back, right? But there's no one out there. There's no other cars in the road. Like we're in the middle of the jungle on this random highway. And so he's probably going like 80 miles an hour ish. And all of a sudden this guy on a moped, or I guess it's probably a motorcycle, I don't know, just like a really ghetto motorcycle. Yeah. He passes us right on our right hand side. So he passes us, and then he gets probably like, I don't know, 30 yards ahead of us. And then all of a sudden he makes like a U-turn in the middle of the highway. Doesn't like put his arm out to signal, doesn't like make a signal at all, doesn't even like look back to see if there's any cars behind him. I don't know. I don't know how you don't do that on like a highway, but especially after he just passed us. But anyway, he just probably wasn't thinking, I don't know. So he just turns, makes this U-turn, right? And we're going 80 miles an hour. Like you can't just slam on your brakes and not hit the guy. And so Elder Vargas has probably like less than a second to swerve and try to avoid this guy, right? So he swerves, and all of this, so I'm like telling this right now, everything is in slow motion to me. It's crazy because you see in movies and like everything goes in slow motion. That's like kind of reality. I don't know if it's like a weird thing that our brain processes later or something, but everything's in slow motion when I'm telling this. So like Elder Vargas is like just like turning his wheel, right? And all of a sudden we are like off the road. We like demolish this guy. We hit him basically on the whole right side of our car. Like the mirror's broken, and like we run this dude over going 80 miles an hour. Like, yeah, not good. So at the same time we do that, we destroy this queso stand that happened to be on the side of the road. Not the queso, right? And it's funny. I think about this and I'm like, we were in the middle of nowhere. There was like really nothing out there on a lot of part of that road, and we happened to hit the one queso stand that happens to be there. It's so weird. It's like that one story of the 2 guys like way back when there was like 2 cars in the whole city and the whole town, and they happened to hit each other and crash into each other. Like same thing. Like we happened to hit the queso stand. And so not just like hit it, but we absolutely destroy this thing. It's like woods flying everywhere. Queso's like turning into liquid. It's liquefying, right? And the same time we hit the queso, like we hit the guy and like the queso splattered everywhere. And so I'm thinking like in my head, it's like his blood and guts.
It's his guts,
yeah. And so I'm like in shock. But again, this is all like happening so fast, but in my head, like so slow at the same time. We swerve back onto the road and then like end up crashing on the right side of the road, like on the other side of the road, and then come to a stop. Cars like destroyed, windows broken, mirrors off. The wheels were completely popped, like destroyed. Everything is crazy. And so we come to a stop, right? And I'm sitting there and we're all in shock. And what feels like a couple minutes is probably just a couple seconds, but I'm just like, holy crap. Like the only thing I can think about is the fact that we probably killed this guy. Right. Like that guy, we just ran him over. Not just ran him, but we destroyed this guy going like 80 miles an hour. That guy's dead. There's no way he's alive. And so that's what I'm sitting there thinking about. And then all of a sudden, Elder... Oh my gosh. I hope he doesn't watch this.
That's so embarrassing.
Oh my gosh. Elder, he's like one of my greatest people. I love him so much from Mission. Elder Walker. Sorry, Elder Walker, if you're seeing this and I blanked your name. Elder Walker is sitting next to me and he's like, guys, he's alive. And he's like hitting us. And so I'm back and I'm like, okay, we need to go like save this guy. We need to help him. So jump out of the car, start running over there. In a matter of seconds, these people are out of the bushes. Like, I don't know where they came from.
The queso people?
Everyone. There's just everyone. I don't know. There must have been a town nearby or something. But like, yeah, there was like so many people literally came out of nowhere. And they like held me back and they're like, don't go over there. If like his friends or family know that you did this to him, like they're going to cut your head off with a machete, like all these things. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. And a bunch of people were attending to him. So I'm like, I don't know anything medical anyways. Like they can probably help better than I can. So I'm sitting there like, okay, like what needs to happen next? And so I call my mission president, doesn't answer. Called the mission nurse, doesn't answer. Call the mission president's wife, doesn't answer. I'm calling everyone that like has authority in the mission that like should know about this. No one is answering. And like all of us are calling them and stuff. Elder Vargas is a mess because he thinks he just killed someone. So like he obviously like he needs consoling
Yeah.
from his companion and stuff. And so anyway, so then I call this dude in the Capitol who's like over essentially like, so one of my jobs in as a office elder was I was supposed to be in charge of like all the cars of the mission. Luckily for me, there was literally 4 cars in the whole mission. So
3 now.
yeah, exactly. And so I have to like report things to him weekly. So I like send him weekly reports and things like that. At this point, I've never really even talked to him. I just send him like emails with reports. So I call him and I'm like, hey, this is Elder Greer. This is what happened. And like, I'm 10 months in the mission. My Spanish isn't perfect, but it's pretty good. And like, I can explain that like we're in a situation, right? And like, I literally told him in Spanish, I was like, we just ran someone over. I think he's dead. Our car's like probably totaled. And I guess he just like didn't understand me. I don't know. Like I really thinking back, I'm like, I don't know how I could have been like more clear of the situation. Again, my Spanish wasn't perfect, but like I know I said the words right. Yeah. And he's like, okay, like in the glove box, there's like these papers to fill out. Just go ahead and like fill out a report. And I was like, okay, for sure, I'll do that. But like, we need help. I was like, what do we do? Like our mission president's not answering. Like, I don't know. And so maybe he was busy or something. He just seemed preoccupied and he was like, yeah, like just send me the report over like when you're done. And he like hangs up and I'm like, okay, that was zero help. I don't know what the heck to do. So I fill out the freaking paper. That's not going to do anything. And so then, the other missionaries were like talking and stuff, and basically they filled me in after I got off the phone with that guy that someone was like coming to tow our car somewhere because we couldn't get anywhere. So I'm like, okay, great. So we're sitting there waiting for a little bit. The guy's like moving and stuff, and so he's at least not dead for now, but obviously not in good condition after getting freaking demolished by a truck going 82 miles an hour. So
was he wearing a helmet?
No. They don't wear helmets there. It's actually crazy how many people you'll see just randomly everywhere in the Dominican Republic without limbs, like without a foot or like without an arm. You'd like full limbs just like completely cut off.
Yeah.
And there's so many people on motorcycles, mopeds, like flying around crazy. There's potholes everywhere. Like is that a correlation that like people are aware of? Like that's the cause of. Definitely. But a lot of times it's the only way that people can afford to transport themselves, right? Because gas is so much cheaper with a motorcycle or moped, or like people just can't afford cars and stuff. And so, yeah, they just whip around. But also it's kind of just a part of their culture. They like love it. They love bikes. They love motorcycles and mopeds and stuff. And they pop wheelies everywhere, which is probably also correlated because I swear I've seen so many people like try to be cool when they're like going by us, and then they'll pop a wheelie and then like eat crap. So anyway, yeah, no helmet, which is not great. And that's also kind of I'm kind of being a hypocrite here. Maybe I learned it from the Dominican Republic, but I have a motorcycle now, and sometimes I ride without my motorcycle. I mean, without my helmet, and I won't be doing that anymore. I got a couple helmets. Anyway, I'm more safe on the motorcycle now, but I was unhinged at first and not being responsible. Anyway, so we get towed, and on our way, like wherever we're getting towed to, we're sitting there in silence for quite a bit because we're all just trying to take it in, and it's kind of just a crazy situation. And obviously we feel super bad for Elder Vargas because if you were in his shoes, like you would probably be feeling horrible, right? And it's not his fault. Like he did the best he could. You know, he was driving a little faster than he should have, but like you couldn't have predicted that someone was just going to pull a U-turn right in front of you like that, right? Yeah. So me being me, I was like, I'm going to make light of this situation. Definitely wasn't the time yet. Definitely wasn't the time or place. But I was like, yeah, like Elder Vargas, like, don't worry. We're going to be all like looking back 5 years from now and laughing at this moment. Like it's going to be funny. Like it sucks right now, but like, we're going to be laughing about it. He didn't proceed that well.
What did he say?
He freaked out because like he like didn't say a word the whole time, and then all of a sudden I said that, and he's like, you don't understand like what it feels like to be in my shoes. I just killed someone and like blah, 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 all these things, and he just is yelling, and instantly I regret what I said because I was like, shoot, yeah, it just wasn't the time or place. Maybe when everything's all done and said and like okay again, that's the time and place for that. But yeah, anyway, so that wasn't perceived well, and I totally get it. Like I probably would have freaked out too if someone said that to me after I just demolished someone. So we finally get to where we were towed, or like they were like, okay, like you're here, get out. And we get out and we're like, interesting, like it was a jail. We just get towed to this jail and we're like, okay, like cool, I guess. And then all of a sudden they're like confiscating our stuff, our phones, and they're like,
and you haven't heard from the mission president or anyone?
No.
Like no one knows where you guys are at?
No. And so we like happened to call like some missionaries close-ish in that area called Nagua and be like, this is our situation, president's not answering, like just so if we disappear, like this is where we're at. And they're like, okay, we'll try to figure out what to do. And we had left voicemails and stuff too, so like whenever he happened to get around to, and this is like a span of 3 hours, I'm like, dude, where are you, like what are you doing? And it was like going right to voicemail and stuff. We're like, okay, what the heck? And so so then they start talking to us, but they were like mean. They were super mean. There was like this chief of police guy or whatever, and he had the thickest accent I've ever heard. Well, and it's so weird. In Dominican Republic, depending on which part of the island that you're on, which is also really small, it's like the size of New Jersey. It's like tiny. Wow. Yeah. Depending on what part of the island you're on, you can tell where they're from because of their accents. It's like us here with like Western accent versus like the deep South versus like the Midwestern accent, right? And so like he had the thickest accent, and for us it'd be like talking to someone from the deep South of like Alabama that is just really, how do I say this right? Just has the thickest accent you've ever heard. Yeah. Like a very like twangy type of thing, but in Spanish, right? So like it's already hard to understand Dominicans like fluently because they talk so incredibly fast and leave S's off words that are supposed to have F's and like cut off. It's just so weird. But I could not understand a single thing this guy was saying. And so he's talking to Elder Vargas, who's literally from Mexico. So his first and only language is Spanish. And he's like, I can't understand this guy. I need someone that speaks Spanish. And he's like, dude, I'm from Mexico. And he's like, I need someone that speaks Dominican Spanish. And so my companion luckily was from the capital. And so he was like, I am Dominican. So they're like talking, and this guy's just relentless. He's super mean. I think they probably wanted to get something out of us, like probably get money and stuff, like not a ransom, but like, they just wanted to probably like prosecute us in a way of like we had to pay them to get out type of thing. So a lot of times that's how things kind of work there. And so I don't even remember a lot of that day other than the fact that finally our mission president called us back, or actually didn't call us back because we didn't have our phones. Someone like came, some random person that was like a member of the church came and bailed us out, and we like had to drive with him all the way back to Santiago, which is like the headquarters, and we had to go right to court. Like we didn't get to sleep, like we just went like right to court to basically like, I don't know, we get put on trial or something. I don't know.
How much was the bail?
Honestly, I have no idea.
Because 4 of you.
There's 4 of us. Yeah. I don't even know if there was a bail. I don't know how that works, honestly, there. But he was like a big authority guy. Like the
member?
Yeah. He was like some sort of in the government. I don't want to say politician. I don't know if he's like a politician, but I know he was like high up in the government of some sort. And so I think he pulled some strings.
What a blessing.
Yeah, such a blessing. And so what happened with our mission president not answering was, it was his son's birthday that day. Aww. And so he promised his family that he would turn his phone off, of course, the day that this freaking happens. So he promised his family that he's going to turn his phone off and just like give them all attention. Because as a mission president, I'm sure like you just are consumed by so many things all the time. It's a 24/7 nonstop job. You're in charge of like 300 young men and women of the age of like 18 to 21 typically, 18 to 25 sometimes, and so like raging hormones and like emotional and first time away from their parents ever, and and like having to get along with people from different cultures. Like I'm sure it's just so consuming. Like you just are constantly busy. And so he's like, I'm gonna give my family this day to like be on our own as a family and like not answer phone calls and stuff. And he said 3 times throughout the day, because this happened like the whole day, like we couldn't talk with him, right, because his phone was off. He said 3 times throughout the day he felt a feeling, like a very strong feeling. In the church we call it like a prompting, like a spiritual prompting, right? He said 3 times throughout the day he felt this prompting to turn his phone on. But he was like, no, like it's just me being like anxious and like knowing there's so much to do. I'm gonna like, I promised my family. And then finally after the 3rd time he like turned to his wife and he was like, babe, like I gotta turn my phone on really quick. I really think that I need to, like I feel like I do. And she was like, yeah, for sure, like no worries. All of a sudden just blown up with all these messages like, help us, we're going to jail, like they're taking our stuff, so like I can't imagine his reaction when he saw all of that and like listened to our voicemails like, someone's dead, we just killed someone, like we're going to jail, we don't know what to do. So anyways, yeah, it's kind of funny thinking about it now, but probably not like the funnest thing to turn your phone on to and find. But so he called that guy that was able to bail us out. We go to the court, and basically they had to question Elder Vargas for a while and stuff. Luckily, the guy that we ran over was still very much alive. He admitted that it was his fault and that what happened was he forgot his lunch at home and he was on his way to work. And so he was just like turning around to go grab his lunch, and he just didn't even think about the fact that there was a car probably behind him on a highway going really fast. So that's what happened, and he admitted to that. And so we were like in the clear, we were fine.
Was he in court with you guys?
No. At this point, he was in some random clinic, like some random medical place, like up there in that area that was close by. But the mission nurse, we finally got like a hold of the mission nurse and stuff, and she called Salt Lake City headquarters, like where the church headquarters is, and filled them in on the situation. And they were like, absolutely pay for whatever surgery this guy needs, like save his life, save his limbs, do whatever you need, no expense. So no expense, no cap on expense. Right. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Not that it had to be free. So anyways, we have like a doctor there that's associated with the church somehow, who would do any sort of surgeries if any missionaries needed to. And he worked on and operated on this guy. And basically his leg, I need to show you a picture of it. It's bad.
I'm nervous.
No, it's so bad. Are you ready?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, here's the first one.
My gosh.
Yeah. So I'll show you like an up close one now.
Even from the side, I'm like, oh my gosh. And this was, that's so much blood.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks awful.
Yeah, it looks like something from The Walking Dead, right?
Literally, like a zombie.
Yeah. I'll try to put that on the edit of this so that people that are watching this podcast can see. And I'll like try to put it on my Instagram and stuff too, but it'll probably get taken down because of like how graphic it is.
Yeah.
But horrible, right? So that was his leg, like his whole leg, right? And so their kind of standard procedure there is like, unless you can pay for it, which a lot of people can't, like they're just going to cut it off, like something like that. It's savable, but he didn't have insurance. Like he didn't have the means to, he works in like a sugarcane field, right? So like he by no means could he afford it. And so they would have just cut it off, which is what they were going to do. And the church was like, no, absolutely not. Like we're saving this guy's leg. And so the church doctor comes in, like preps everything and stuff. And me and my companion, it was one day later, we got to go down there to the hospital because it was actually pretty close to our houses. We got to go down there to the hospital and see him and talk with him and give him a what's called a priesthood blessing. And basically like, bless him that he would be able to heal and they would be able to save his leg and that he'd be fine, make like a full recovery. And it was crazy. I'm getting out of goosebumps right now.
Oh my God, so beautiful.
It really is. Cause like such a horrible thing that happened turned into like something that was really cool because A, like he admitted to it all. B, he wasn't mad at us at all. Like he has every reason to be like, you guys destroyed my life or something, right? But he was like so forgiving, and he was like, you know what, like I made a dumb mistake, and unfortunately like this is the result of it. And he was this Haitian guy, so his Spanish was really bad, his like broken Spanish. But it was crazy because when we first go into the hospital, we see him and he's literally shaking, like his whole entire body, of just like how excruciating the pain is. Obviously, you saw his leg, and his whole body is just absolutely shaking. This dude, from head to toe, is in horrible, excruciating pain that I would not wish upon my worst enemy. And by the end of our priesthood blessing, he was like, you could tell he looked comforted. He looked like his pain had eased. I don't know. It's so cool to think about, and like, say what you will about like priesthood blessings or like your faith in church or not or whatever, but that's something that I'll never be able to deny, is the fact that like we put our hands on his head and gave him a priesthood blessing in the name of Jesus Christ, and we blessed him that he'd be okay and make a full recovery, and he did. I don't know what happened to him later on. Yeah, right? So cool.
Yeah, that is beautiful.
So I don't know what happened later on. I don't know if he ever ended up like becoming a member of the Church of Jesus Christ or not or anything, but that's not the point of it. The point is the fact that like, this is just such a wild story that could have been horrible. Like this guy should have been dead. By all means, he should have. I running him over so many times, and I just honestly, logistically, it does not make sense.
Yeah.
How you can run someone over like that at 80 miles an hour without a helmet, without any protection whatsoever. Right. And he ended up obviously not walking away, but like not dying and being able to have this procedure and eventually walk again. Right. Mm-hmm. Like it doesn't make sense in my head. And so I'm like, I don't know. Heavenly Father was looking out for that guy that day, us that day. I don't know. I believe in angels. I believe in all sorts of things. And I think that we were super blessed. And yeah, it's just kind of cool to look back on and see that we didn't have to go through that traumatic experience, because it was traumatic for sure. But like, now we can look back on it and see what a like amazing story it was, versus if he had died, like that probably would have left a very dark place, and especially Elder Vargas's like life, right? And for me, like that would be horrible, saying that like I was involved in an accident that killed someone, you know, and we probably for sure would have been in jail for a lot longer. We heard later that if he was to have died, then they would have shipped us all home immediately, and we would have had to get reassigned in our home state countries.
Oh, wow.
So Elder Vargas back to Mexico, me back home to, you know, the US and stuff. And so luckily that didn't happen. I was able to finish my mission there and stuff, but it's just like, it's wild. It's crazy. I don't know how it happened like it did, but it did. And that's kind of like the cool part about the story. It's like, again, from the beginning, like I was only in jail for one day, a little bit clickbait, maybe. Like that's not even the cool part of it or whatever. Like there wasn't even anyone in there that was harassing us, at least, you know, like a real jail experience.
Yeah.
But the story behind it all is just the fact that all of that is just so wild, and it happened, and this guy is able to walk again and like provide for his family still and stuff. So.
And I think it highlights a really cool point of God's plan for us, that like sometimes people are like, if God is so good, why does bad things happen, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, we live in an imperfect world. We're imperfect people. But the miracle of God isn't that he makes everything perfect and good and happy. The miracle of God is he can take things that are scary and traumatic and life-threatening and make them beautiful and happy and perfect, right? Yeah. Like that is the miracle of God, is that no matter how bad we can screw things up, like it all turns out okay, and you can look back and be like, that was beautiful, and I think that was an uplifting experience overall for everyone. Mm-hmm. The trauma's still there, but the overall feeling is like, that is something that I'll never forget, and it taught me about myself and about God, which I think is really cool. Mm-hmm. I do have a follow-up question.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know that like in the moment, because it was just like a lot happening, you didn't know how you hit him necessarily, but like what was the car to motorcycle collision? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, that's a great question. So basically, like, queso stand is here, right? Two-way highways right here. I'm trying to like give you a visual a little bit. Yeah. So we fly off the road this way, hit the queso stand. he's about right here. We hit him just before the
So
queso
you crossed
stand.
the whole highway.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just 2 lanes.
Right.
Hit the queso.
Uh-huh.
And
We
then-
we hit him before the queso stand.
Okay.
Yeah. So like as we swerve, again, he had like 1 second to react. As we swerve, like we're going from here to like this direction, like, and we hit the whole like the right side of our car. You can see it from like the pictures afterwards and stuff of like the markings and like the mirror getting smacked off by him and stuff. The whole right side of the car he hit essentially,
Okay.
like I guess hit him and ran him over.
And his leg was kind of in between him and the bike.
I don't know how his leg got like that, but I imagine it was from either the tire or like hitting the side of our truck, like the.
I know. Did he hit the side or did he go under?
I
Or
don't
both?
know.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, I really don't.
But from the pictures, it looks like it was just his leg. Like everything else.
Yeah,
looked intact,
luckily,
right?
and that's another thing that's crazy is like he didn't have a motorcycle, or sorry, I keep saying that. He didn't have a helmet, and so he really should have like bonked his head because unless he just like his body just knew to
Yeah.
kind of cringe up or whatever, and he didn't hit it, but his head seemed fine. I mean, he definitely had a lot of other scratches and things all over the rest of his body and stuff, and you don't see his back or like his backside and stuff, and that's like pretty road damaged and stuff,
Okay.
right? So assuming he landed on his back or something, but even then, like it really should have been so much worse.
Yeah.
So this is gonna sound kind of like out there or whatever, and like again, just believe what you will, but I'm almost picturing like, and this is me just being like missionary mode or whatever, but I'm almost picturing like angels literally just like how do I say it? Like he gets hit by us, right? And angels are like arms around him, like placing him down versus like letting him just like skid across the road.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen a bunch of other videos. They made us watch this freaking psychotic movie in high school, probably to scare us to drive safe. It was called Red Asphalt, I think.
Oh gosh.
And it was literally about like horrible crashes and like people not wearing their seatbelts and things like that. And in the movie, again, I don't think this is even legal probably to show kids these days, but you see like collisions in where they like completely are ejected from the car and like skid across the entire road and like don't even have their face anymore type of thing. Or
gosh.
like all of their skin on their
Yeah.
bodies just like ripped off, and like this guy was in so much better condition than he really should have been in an accident like this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And maybe too, it was just the perfect miss. Like obviously we could have missed him better, but like we hit him just enough to where like that his damages were done the way that they were, but not enough to where he would have got like collided with us so bad to where it would have been way worse. I don't know. I don't know the logistics behind
Right.
how that all occurred, but either way, I'm happy it occurred the way that it did and not worse.
Right.
So, but yeah, great question. Because same thing. I'm like, how the heck did that happen?
I know. Like
No
you
idea.
just don't know.
Yeah.
Wow.
So anyways, yeah, that's the story about how I went to jail. It runs in the family, I guess. Episode 2 is my cousin going to jail, but his story is way worse as far as like how his experience was in jail and everything like that. But hope to never be in jail again. Hopefully
Yeah.
that's my one. I can check that off my bucket list. Like I don't have to do that ever again. And yeah.
I think
Gonna
jail
get
in a
some-
different country is way harder than jail in America, though.
Oh,
Like
for sure.
that's like that story goes harder.
Well, yeah. I mean, it could have been way worse. It was like a janky jail that had a
I
couple
know,
people
but you don't
in
have to
it.
tell
But
people that.
you're right. Yeah, no, like it was pretty crazy. There was gangsters and everything.
It's like Daniel in the Lion's Den, like God's
got my
protection.
first tattoo. Then no, just kidding. Yeah, no, for real, it was kind of nuts. But and that kind of sounds way cool on being able to just like say that to someone, like, yeah, I went to jail once. But the story behind it again is like way cooler. But I will say my 2 truths and a lie is impeccable. It's super good.
Let's hear them.
Well, okay, so it's like I always lead with like, okay, I went to jail, because then people are like, wait, like
Yeah.
there's got to be some story behind that if it's real, and it like kind of messes with them and stuff. And then my second one is that I got catfished, which is episode 1, so that was also
And I'm like,
true.
I need to go back and listen.
Yeah.
I'm a fake fan.
And then when I say that following up jail, they're like, you got and usually I say I got catfished for 3 months, because like getting catfished, like that can happen all the time or
Right.
whatever, but like I got catfished for 3 months. And so they're like, okay, A, that's specific. B, that's a long time. What the heck? Like, how did someone manage to do that to you? And then my third one is typically that I ran track in Australia. No, I ran track in the Dominican. I'm messing this up. Obviously, this is
your
the lie. I ran track in New Zealand right after high school for Team USA, which is true, except for it's not New Zealand. It was Australia is where I competed.
That's way cool.
Then that's cool too, because then I can be like, that actually is true, but in a different country.
Yeah.
So really, it's me just being able to be like, look at all these things that I can tell people about me. The center of attention. I don't know. I'm an attention whore maybe, but that's probably why I have all these freaking
What's your Enneagram?
stories.
What's your Briggs-Meyer?
I don't know what that
Really?
is actually. I've heard of that. It's like a personality test. Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably should take it.
It gives you like 18 pages of like
Oh.
information about yourself, your like how you'll be as a parent, what kind of job you should have, what kind of partner,
Oh,
like
man.
relationships you'll have. It's actually really cool.
I'll have to do that actually. I need
Yeah.
as much advice and guidance in my life as I can get right now. My parents will testify to that. Just kidding. I feel like I'm on a pretty good track, I would say. I'm just not married, so my parents just think I'm a failure. I'm just
Real?
kidding. But really.
Real.
Thanks, Mom and Dad. Anyways, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Great questions, and I'm glad that I was able to tell it finally. So
Yeah, no, I loved it. It was a little bit of a twist. Like I
sure.
was not expecting that.
yeah.
I was expecting like, I don't know what I was expecting, but not that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I wasn't really even focused much on the jail part, so maybe I should title it like how I almost killed someone or something.
No.
I wasn't even
actually,
driving, so not really me either.
I don't know which one's better. The jail one got me here. Got me
yeah,
sitting on this
yeah,
couch.
for
so I'm
sure.
like, maybe
I'll keep it with that. All right, thanks, Kate.
Of course.